Hello everyone and welcome back to Cafe Bagheri. Today I have a special item from my childhood that I want to share with all of you. So let's get started making some Persian Kotlet. So the first thing I'm going to do is to peel the potatoes and we're going to cut them up. I have water boiling over there and we're going to boil them for about 10 minutes. So I use a standard little peeler here. Potato being added in the meat for these patties kind of extends your ingredients to make more of these patties at a lower cost. So what's more expensive? Meat. So when you add potato, you just create a bigger mass to make patties with. But it happens to just make these patties perfect. So meat and potatoes were probably put together for economic reasons in this dish, but they really work and it's wonderful. There you go. So you just run up and down. Now let me show you a little thing. See these little eyes? You don't want them in your final product. So this little gadget on the side of the peelers, that's what it's for. You just remove the eyes using it. So for this recipe, which is provided down in the comments, we are using a pound of ground meat and a pound of potatoes. Real straightforward. All right, our potatoes are peeled and cleaned up. Now we're going to cut them. The only thing you need to remember is your potato needs to be cut in pieces about 1.5 to 2 inches in size, and make sure they're consistently sized because you want all the pieces to be similar size so they cook at the same rate, right? That's the only important thing. Here you go. This is our potatoes ready to go. I have the water boiling over there. We're ready to push it all in. Be careful not to burn yourself. There it is. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. And just give it a little stir. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and we should be good. While our potatoes are cooking in the hot water, we're going to shred the onion that goes in with the potatoes. And then we'll put the eggs and the rest of the stuff in. I use a box shredder. Don't go too fine. You kind of want the larger size of the shredder. The same way you do kubide kebab when you shred the onions. By the way, no onion is worth losing your fingers, your knuckles, so this last piece you can just throw away. By the way, if you know the best way, the best solution for tearing up with onions, please put your solution in the comments below. I've heard you can put matchsticks in your teeth. You can put a piece of bread in your mouth. What else? All right, this is our shredded onion. I removed any large pieces that were in here. Squeeze all of the juice out of this. You can use a strainer or a colander. I just basically push on it in the bowl. You don't want it too dry. Just most of the moisture needs to be squeezed out of it because you don't want your patties too soft. Oh, camera lady, I can't believe you made me cry like this. There's some onions. Most of the liquid was squeezed out of it. See, there's no puddle of juice here. And this is our onion juice. We're going to dump it. So this is the bowl in which we're going to build everything together. It's been exactly 10 minutes and our potatoes are done. We're going to drain it into this colander. Careful not to burn yourself. While the potatoes are cooling down over the sink, we're going to break the eggs in this large bowl that already has our shredded onions. All right, so as we add our items, we're going to just give it a little stir because all of this is going to get mixed. But the eggs we want somewhat scrambled first. So eggs are in there. Now we're going to add our spices. We have salt and pepper. Again, look at the recipe. This is turmeric. A little bit of turmeric that gives it a very Persian flavor profile. This is a little bit of cayenne. It's very optional. I like a little bit of oomph, a little bit of heat in the back of the tongue. If you don't want any heat in there, don't add the cayenne pepper. Or if there are other, like if you have Aleppo peppers or red peppers, whatever kind of heat you like, add to this. So we do another stir here to make sure that everything's incorporated before we add our meat and the potatoes. The next aromatic that goes in this dish is a little bit of parsley. You can do cilantro, you can do scallions or chives. Make sure it's chopped real fine. I'm gonna gather it all up and add it in here. We're gonna wait a little bit longer for our potato to get cooler. As a matter of fact, you want it to be cool enough not to make scrambled eggs in here. While the potatoes are cooling, I'm going to go ahead and add the ground meat in there, right? So we're going to mix the meat with the eggs and the onion and spices. It's very important that everything is incorporated and mixed thoroughly. You don't want chunks of meat or potatoes or whatever is in there in one spot. I'm just going to use another pair of gloves for the last phase of this thing. All right, our potatoes are cool now and everything else is in the bowl. I use my trusty potato ricer. I love this thing. I don't get to use it a lot, but it's fantastic for mashed potatoes, for olivier, for kotlet, things that require potatoes to be pulverized and mixed into something. This is the guy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rice these potatoes in 2 or 3 installments. There you go. I have adjusted the finer setting so that I get it as small as possible. This potato ricer is good for all kinds of steamed and boiled vegetables, by the way. If you're making soups or any kind of cold salads that require cooked or steamed and mashed vegetables, this is your go-to tool. There it is. Just clean up. We don't want any waste. Use your hands. That's why I changed my gloves and I'm going to do this. This is pretty much all we have. All the spices are in there. Because the potatoes are pretty soft right now, this massaging actually serves to further mash the potatoes and incorporate them into the whole thing. I can feel right now the potatoes, they're still got a little bit of warmth. You can see patches of potato and meat distinguishable. You need to get to a uniform color where you can't make out anything by itself. You have a completely incorporated mix. Pretty much same way you do kubide kebab, by the way. When you mix onion and meat and spices. Have you seen my kubide kebab video? If you haven't, this is perfect opportunity. You learn how to make kotlet, and then you go over and watch the kubide video. I do one of these. Look at that. See? Now we're gonna cover this and put it in the fridge and let it chill for about 30 minutes to an hour so that any heat that's there from potatoes is gonna go down and this thing gets a chance to rest. Then we're gonna scoop it and form it into portions and make our kotlet. Okay, our kotlet mix has been in the fridge, for about 20 minutes. So I have a little cookie sheet metal. This is my favorite without the sides. Each kotlet, normal size, is about an oval this size, ½ an inch thick, about 45 to 50 grams or less, a little less than 2 ounces of this mixture will give you that. And this ice cream scoop that I happen to have at home, I don't even know what size scoop this is, but about 45 grams. So we're gonna scoop out all of the kotlets that we're gonna make. Serves two purposes. You're done with one stage and then you move to the next, and then we can count it and see how many. Now I'm going to form these and bread them and get ready for frying them. I use panko. You can use any kind of breadcrumb that you like. Here's the thing. You don't want to season your cutlet after you cook it or while you're cooking it. All I do is put some salt and pepper in the actual breadcrumbs and just basically mix it all up. You can put paprika, you can put garlic powder, onion powder, more herbs if you will. There you go. I'm using this pan. All of my breadcrumbs are here. This is our direction. Then we're gonna fry them over there. Before I proceed, I am going to put my heat on medium. I use a gas cooktop. You're gonna get the heat right on your particular stovetop. I keep repeating this because people leave comments once in a while and say, followed the directions and it cooked too much or too little. You have to, one way or another, test these recipes to see how much heat and how much time for your equipment. And then I'm going to put a neutral vegetable oil. I use grapeseed because I just love the flavor. It's near neutral, but I can tell that it came from grapes. And then you can use canola or any kind of neutral vegetable oil. Put enough so that if it's not even surface, the middle puddle should have about 1/4 to 1/3 of an inch of oil. This is not the place you want to be healthy. Kotlet needs some oil. So we start here. Now here's a pastime for me and any Iranian who has grown up and loved kotlet. You never ever, almost never see them around like sausage, breakfast sausages or little hamburger sliders. They make them in oval shape, or what would you call teardrop? Thank you. Then you push it down on one side in the panko. You just pour it up and press on it and turn it. That's all you need. So we're going to make a whole bunch of these. And again, it can be oval, it can be square. If you notice, I don't want to go kind of piecemeal this prep. I use a scoop to create meatballs here. Then I'm going to bread them all or most of them and then go cook them over there. You don't want to do it in batches, kind of like go back, have to change your gloves or wash your hands or whatever. Do one type of work in batch, be done with it, and then let it rest and you go cook it over there. The kotlet patties are formed. As you can see, the 22 scoops that we had made, they've all been made into kotlet. This was about 1.5 cups of panko breadcrumbs. Our oil is at the temperature we want it. Our patties are ready. I'm gonna line a plate. You can use a pan, whatever you want to store your kotlets right off the skillet right here. We're going to pick these prepared patties up, about 5 or 6 in each batch. This is a large skillet. Like I said, with about 1/4 of an inch of vegetable oil in there. So I'm going to get some more from here. So I'm done with this pan. I'm going to bring this one up. So at this point, you want to go between 4 to 5 minutes on medium on each side. And I'm going to flip them all over. Watch the quality of oil and how much of the breading ends up in the oil. As soon as it's too dark, you want to wipe it clean and restart. One thing I always have to remind myself is to make sure that the heat source, the eye, is exactly in the middle of your skillet. when I'm standing here at the stove, I gradually pull the skillet towards me and it's not centered. What happens is whatever you have over there on that side is going to cook, and the stuff on this side is not going to cook. So once in a while, kind of eyeball the eye and eyeball the eye. See what I did there? And then make sure everything's centered, okay? The first side of this first batch is cooked now. We're going to turn them. So it cooked for about 5 minutes. Look at that. So here's what I see. The first side could have cooked a little longer, but no problem. I'm going to cook the second side about 5.5 minutes and then come back and finish off this side to get a little darker. Got these ready. Check this out. Perfectly cooked on both sides, but 5 to 5.5 minutes on each side. The second side needs a little bit less cooking, so go 5.5 minutes on first side and then 4 on the second. And again, I'm going to repeat myself as usual. It depends on your stovetop. It may be a little bit different. Before I continue with the rest of them, check this out. So you have some of the breadcrumbs left from the first batch, and we still have patties to do, right? So this is in order. You get a water paper towel or whatever you use to kind of get some of the breadcrumbs. You can leave the oil because you're using a neutral oil that doesn't burn easy. And there you go. So you just collect some of the remaining breadcrumbs and start over. You add some more oil and go with the rest of your batches. All right, we made our Persian kotlets, the patties, right here. Now, I presented it in a sandwich form and just free form on a plate. Moms used to send these little meat patties to school with kids and on road trips, on picnics. They're very versatile, as I said earlier. They can also, by the way, be served with your rice, your steamed rice, Persian saffron rice, and a side of Shirazi salad, if you will. If you're serving it with rice, it's usually served hot or warm. Otherwise, even in sandwiches, you can serve it room temperature or cold. And they're just little hand patties that you pick up and eat like that. And they're wonderful. If you like this video, please like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to this channel. Hit that little bell button so we can keep in touch. And I hope to see you here at Cafe Bagheri very soon for some more delicious items. Thank you for being with me today. Now I can't wait to have some kotlet.